Hey guys, it's me, the 5-Star Kid, back again with another episode of Fantasy Booking Wrestling. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but that's okay. The FBW is here for you, booking fantasy matchups and pretty much running through the match, seeing what happens. And right now we are in the midst of our first ever Fantasy Booking Heavyweight Championship tournament. The first matchup was decided on the last episode. Daniel Bryan beat Chris Benoit. Now, note, I will take all of these wrestlers in their prime. All of their title reigns and stuff like that is just the statistical side, but they will be competing when they were at their prime. So, here we go. Bret Hart, 6'1", 235 pounds. Born into wrestling, literally, the Stu Hart family dungeon, where Stu Hart, Bret's dad, taught wrestling not only to the Harts, but to Chris Benoit, to Chris Jericho, to I think Brian Pillman was one of them. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember exactly. But Bret's WWE accomplishments. First, he was the first ever King of the Ring tournament winner. First ever. No one had won it before him because it had never been done before he won it. He also was a 2-time tag champion, a 2-time intercontinental champion, and a 5-time heavyweight champion. Wow. WCW, after the Montreal Screwjob. Don't say you don't know what that is. You do. You do. Okay. Anyways, WCW, he won 4 U.S. titles, 2 heavyweight championships, and 1 tag team title. Boom. That's a lot of championships to think. Combined total, that is 9. That is 16 championships between WWE and WCW. For Bret Hart. Kurt Angle, born into wrestling. The 95-96 Summer Olympics came into play, and Kurt Angle was competing in amateur wrestling for the United States of America. Won a gold medal. Born into wrestling. A 2-time National Collegiate Wrestling champion. Born into wrestling. Same thing as Bret. Different style though. So. In the WWE, let's see, first Angle is 6 foot tall, 240 pounds. Almost exactly the same. Bret was 6'1", 235. Pretty close. 5 pounds weight difference, 1 inch height difference, not much at all total difference. So, virtually identical in that. In the WWE, Angle was a 1-time Intercontinental and European champion, a 1-time tag team champion, a 1-time heavyweight champion, a 4-time WWE champion, a 1-time hardcore champion. Kurt also won the King of the Ring tournament in 2000. So both have won the King of the Ring tournament. He was the 10th Triple Crown winner and the 5th Grand Slam champion in WWE. In TNA, he was a 5-time heavyweight champion, a 1-time X Division champion, won the King of the Mountain in 2007 and 2009, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in TNA in 2013. Even before he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, in I believe it was 2017, I want to say. I may be wrong, but I think it was 2017. Yeah, it was. So, there's your tail of the tape. There's your title breakdown. There's your run of, not everywhere, both of them have been, but the major places that both of them have gone to and competed. Kurt Angle is also New Japan. I just want to note that. I don't want to leave that out. He's won the New Japan Heavyweight Championship, I believe, before there. So, there you go. All right. So, Bret is a mastermind. Bret is a psychological fighter. Bret thinks his opponents through and really scouts the people out well. That's what makes him a very good technical wrestler. Kurt Angle knows how to pick a person apart. He knows how to brawl when he needs to brawl, just like Bret does. But he's a very methodical person, whereas Bret is a very calculated person. Bret knows when and where to strike to make it count. Kurt knows how to strike, and knows how to strike, and knows how to strike again and again. Knows how to strike differently at the same exact target. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Let's go ahead and get into it. Ding, ding, ding. All right, so they're both going to be grappling right off the bat. They're going to be trading grappling maneuvers, going from hammerlock to top wrist lock to key lock to side arm bar, or not arm bar, but yeah, wrist locks, doing all kinds of things, getting out of it, each other's holds pretty much, reversal, till they finally face off with each other. Again, they get nose to nose, and they don't like it. So Bret pushes Kurt. After Bret pushes Kurt starts throwing blows. I mean, throwing bombs to the face. Boom, boom, boom. Actually backing Bret Hart into a corner. Bret ends up reversing Kurt, starts throwing his own bombs, stands up in the corner, throws the big 10 count punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And then Angle ends up staggering out of the corner after the 10th punch. Bret climbs to the middle rope and hits that big bulldog we've seen him hit on Yokozuna before at WrestleMania 9. And Bret, after he hits that bulldog, Bret gets up and gestures towards the crowd. But you don't ever turn your back on Kurt Angle, and Bret does. Whenever he does, Angle hits three German suplexes on him, the hat trick of Germans. After that, Angle gets down to the legs of Bret Hart. I'm getting their names mixed up for whatever reason. He gets down to the legs of Bret Hart, starts to looks like he's going to go for that ankle lock. Bret Hart flips through, reversing it, where they both stand up quickly, turn and look around, and they're facing off once again with one another. Like, damn, what do I got to do to this guy to beat him? What do I have to do to win? They're two different kinds of, technicians. They work both, actually, I feel like they may actually be more similar than I'm giving them credit for. But I feel like their styles are just different enough that it's like, what do I got to do to beat this guy? So they just start throwing punches at each other, man. They face off, like, what the hell? And then almost simultaneously, they both go in and just start nailing each other. Eventually, Kurt throws Bret Hart off the ropes. He whips him really good. Whenever Bret comes back, he gets an overhead belly-to-belly suplex that Kurt's made famous. Then Bret Hart gets up close to the ropes. Angle clotheslines him outside of the ring. They're both outside of the ring. He throws Bret into the stairs. He throws him into the stairs again. Bret ends up reversing, throwing Angle into the stairs and then into the barricade. And then he takes Angle, smashes his head into the barricade one last time, carries him over to the ring, smashes him on the side of the ring, throws him in at that point. They're both back into the ring. Bret hits a big atomic drop on Kurt. After he hits the atomic drop, he bounces off the ropes, hits him with a big clothesline. It looks like he's going for a sharpshooter at this point. He's had him down for a minute. He's got it. Looks like he's working towards his leg. He picks his legs up, but he just stomps him in the chest, puts his legs down, climbs to the top, and hits him with that big forearm off the middle rope as well. Then he goes straight back to the legs, starts to go for that sharpshooter. As he does, Angle essentially rolls him up into a small package from the sharpshooter, not to pin him, but to roll him into position where he can get him into that ankle lock again. He actually gets that ankle lock locked in, and Bret can't get out of it. He's screaming, he's pleading. The ref's asking, "Do you want to give up? Do you want to give up?" I'd assume it's Mike Chioda at this point. Earl Hebner or Brian Hebner would work too, but Mike Chioda would work if we're saying this is WWE. Anyway, or Charles Robinson. I really like Charles Robinson. He's a really good ref. Anyways, he hits that ankle lock on him, and Bret has to scratch and claw and literally drag Kurt Angle's body as he's laying with his body wrapped around Bret's leg to the ropes. Finally, the referee counts Kurt off of him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Angle lets go, gets up, but he grabs Bret. Why do I keep saying Kurt? Kurt grabs Bret and drags him back to the middle of the ring, and begins to try to lock that ankle lock in again. But as he does, he's just barely, he's not, I don't know how to explain it. He drags him back to the middle of the ring, and he's setting him up, but he doesn't have it locked in, So Bret's able to do what he did before and flip And whenever he flips, Kurt falls on the ground. Bret gets on top of him and locks in his own sharpshooter. While he locks in that sharpshooter, Kurt tries crawling to the ropes. He tries scratching and crawling, but Bret just keeps walking him back to the middle of the ring every time he gets anywhere near close, and forces Angle to submit, to tap out while he's locked in the sharpshooter. That's right. You know what that means, guys? That means our heavyweight championship match has been determined. That is 100% accurate right now. Our heavyweight championship has been determined as Kurt Angle falls to Bret Hart's sharpshooter like Austin did, like Yokozuna did, like Owen Hart had, like a lot of people have. The sharpshooter puts out Kurt Angle just like it did with all those greats. Now we're looking at Bret Hart versus Daniel Bryan for the first ever Fantasy Booking Heavyweight Championship. We'll see you next time for the title match. Yes! Who's going to win, Daniel Bryan or Bret Hart? Extremely big breakdown coming down soon. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be catching you later.